just returned from a long, fatiguing march and was put on guard over you. You sat in a corner, and my orders were to kill you if you attempted to rise. As long as the long silent hours wore away, I had yielded to the demands of nature by falling asleep. I myself incurred the death penalty by sleeping at the post of duty. The captain patiently said, Mr. Broom, whatever your conscience may permit
Conscious,
you to be,
conscious, conscience.
conscience may permit you to be, you saved my life. You pitied my fatigue. You let me sleep, watched over me, and as the time drew near for the relief guard to come and detect me in my crime, you gently woke me up. I ought to have confessed my fault in order to relate the story of your mag-
Magnanimity.
magnanimity. It might have procured you a pardon. 100 times I resolved to do so, but shame prevented me from doing that. Well, heaven forgive me.
Okay, hold on. So after he told the person that how he knew him, how the captain knew Brune, he continued saying that in one dark and stormy night, I had just returned from a long, fatiguing march. So basically, he had marched for such a while that he was physically tired and drained. And then after that, he was put on a guard to watch him, to watch Mr. Brune. And then he sat in a corner, and his order was that if he rises, he should be shot. As long as the silent hours wore away, okay, he yielded to the demands of the nature. That means he was so tired, so his body demanded sleep from him, and he felt asleep. And he did realize by falling asleep, he himself has incurred the death penalty because he was on duty and he's not supposed to sleep. On knowing that, Mr. Broom, he did not try to escape. Instead, what he did was he permitted him to be to continue sleeping, and he also saved his life. How? He did not run away while he was sleeping. He watched over him while he was sleeping, and as he came to know that there is another relief guard who's coming, and he can detect the captain doing a crime by sleeping, instead running away, he woke the captain up and prevented him from getting any kind of punishment. Knowing this, he was under delusion. He was under the delusion that I have also incurred a penalty for myself, but this person, that is Mr. Broom, he saved me from that kind of punishment. So he's under some kind of moral confusion. So you can see this word conscience that is relating to moral sense. Okay. I ought to have confessed my fault in order to relate the story of your magnanimity. So he's saying I should have confessed my fault that I was sleeping during my duty hours, and that could have in turn given you magnanimity. Magnanimity means generosity. So उसका punishment थोड़ा कम हो जाता था उसकी वजह से. But he did not do so. Why? Because out of shame. He was feeling ashamed of himself that how could he do this on duty, and hence he did not tell this to anyone. Continue.
Miss, I read the full paragraph.
No, you are yet to go ahead. Sorry, I did not scroll it down.
Captain Hartroy turned to the army officer and said, This gentleman is a deserted and a spy. He is to he is to be shot dead in the presence of the troops. Half an hour later,
A strattling sound. Strattling means sudden sound.
Miss, am I audible?
Yes.
Half an hour later, a startling sound of a volley of, of musketry was heard. A little later, a single pistol stoll was heard nearby. It was the shot with which Captain Hartroy renounced renounced his life, which in conscience he could no longer keep. In compliance with the note that the
That he left for the
that
officer
that he left for the officer who succeeded him. He could no longer keep. No, no. He was buried like the deserted and spy.
without military honors. And in the solemn shadow of the mountains, the two slept well in one forgotten grave. Okay, so after he confessed, Mr. Broom, that I could have informed my superior that you did not try to run, and that could have incurred you some kind of generosity in your punishment, but I did not do that out of shame. After which, captain turned to the army officer and said that person that this gentleman is a deserter and a spy, and he is to be shot dead in the presence of the troops. So this is the punishment that was already decided for Mr. Broom. So army officer is taking care of his punishment now. Half an hour later, a startling sound of volley of musketry was heard. So basically, this is the sound where a line of soldiers stands in front of the deserter. Deserter is the one who, what do you say, deserted or abandoned. Okay, so he is a deserter. So when I say volley of musketry, that is the sound where a line of soldiers are standing in a line and shooting one after the other together on the victim. So Mr. Broom is being shot by a line of soldiers together. Okay. A little later, a single pistol shot was heard nearby. So after Mr. Broom is dead, there is a sound of single pistol shot heard. Now, what is this? It was the shot with which Captain Hartroy renounced his life. So it is the voice where Captain shot himself dead, which in conscience, which in moral sense, he could no longer keep, because he said, "Nah, I am also a culprit. I am also eligible for the punishment. So I cannot keep myself alive. So I kill myself." In compliance with the note that he left for the officer who succeeded him. So while killing himself, he also mentioned the whole story of how he was eligible for the punishment. He left the story on a note to his succeeding officer. So anyone who is eligible for his post after his death. He was buried like a deserter and spy without military honors. So he was also punished by not giving the military honors why he was buried. So when a military troop or a army person dies, he gets all the respect in a particular ceremonial process, right? But since he asked that I deserve all these what do you say punishment, so he did not get that respect as well. And then these two, both Captain Hartroy and Mr. Broom, were buried together in the mountain, and then they were in long forgotten graves. So, long forgotten graves means they are not remembered. There is no written, what do you say? If you have seen a graveyard, there is a stone put up near the graveyard, and the name of the person and the birth year, death year, etc., etc., is written. So, nothing is being mentioned over there. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
किसी को कोई डाउट है? Any phrase, any word?
No doubt, ma'am.
Okay, great. So, do you want to go through the paragraph once again before we start solving, or you are good with it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm giving you 2-3 minutes to skim through the passage. Everyone's done reading?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Uh, let's start with question A. Give the meaning of sentinel. I guess I have almost given you all of them. Meaning of sentinel is
A
a,
post in army office.
a soldier kept on guard. A soldier kept on guard.
Yes, ma'am.
Second is deserted. Deserted is a person uh, who leaves the armed forces without permission. Leaves the armed forces without permission. They are also called as fugitive, if you want a one word meaning. Fugitive.
Miss, can you repeat?
Person that leaves the armed forces without permission. Third is skirmish. Skirmish is a short fight between small group of soldiers. Small fight between small group of soldiers. First question of B part. Who was the man who evidently looked like a civilian? Why did captain ask him to surrender?
Miss Drummer Brune.
So the civilian was actually drummer Brune, a spy. This is the answer to the first part of the question. Rest. The captain asked him to surrender because anyone with the answer? Why did the captain ask him to surrender? If you have understood the passage, this should be an easy part. Parth,
Miss, because he was a soldier in Ohio.
so what? But why did he ask him to surrender?
The pass was forgery.
Okay, and he also recognized him as a spy. Na? It was the captain who recognized him as a spy, right? He was
Yes,
actually
ma'am.
in disguise of a civilian, right? So the answer will be the civilian was actually drummer Brune, a spy, full stop. The civilian was actually drummer Brune, a spy, full stop. Give a comma between drummer Brune and a spy. The captain asked him to surrender. The captain asked him to surrender because he had recognized him because he had recognized him as a spy and also the civilian pass that Brune was carrying, and also the civilian pass that Brune was carrying was a forgery. Forgery means duplicate document, or a copy of the document, or imitating documents. Done?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Second, how did Captain Hartroy know Drummer Brune?
Miss, he saved his life back a good long.
See, one is he recognized him as Brune, a spy. Okay. Second is how did he know him? वो उसको जानता कैसे था? History. Ohio regiment.
Means because he was an soldier in Ohio regiment, and he was brave, and in the army he was captured by the other army's troops.
Okay, you have pieces. Let's put it together. Okay. Captain Hartroy knew Drummer Brune because years back, because years back he was ordered, because years back he was ordered to guard overnight, because years back he was ordered to guard overnight Drummer Brune, comma, because years back he was ordered to guard overnight Drummer Brune, comma, who had deserted to the enemy, who had deserted to the enemy and had been captured in a skirmish, and had been captured in a skirmish, comma, tried by court martial, tried by court martial, and was sentenced to be shot. I will repeat the whole answer once again. Captain Hartroy knew Drummer Brune because years back he was ordered to guard overnight Drummer Brune, who had deserted to the enemy and had been captured in a skirmish, tried by court martial, and was sentenced to be shot. Now, Parth, you were giving me pieces, right? I have simply used two types of conjunctions to make a nice peaceful sentence, that is comma and. Okay, try to use as more conjunctions as you can, so you can shrink your answers to smaller size, and you can also construct and give it a better look. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Let's come to third. How did Captain Hartroy incur the death penalty? Now, while going through the paragraph, you are very much clear that it is his conscience that was telling him that he incurred the death penalty. So you should say Captain Hartroy incurred the death penalty of him on himself. For what reason?
Because he slept during guarding him, during
Because
guarding him.
because he slept when he was on duty, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Captain Hartroy incurred the death penalty on himself by falling asleep on the duty. By falling asleep on the duty.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, just a second. Huh? We continue forward. Um, Fourth question: how did Drummer Brune save Captain Hartrow's life? Who will answer? Drummer Brune did two things to save his life. That is, when he was sleeping, he watched over him, and before the relief guard could see him sleeping on duty, he woke him up. These are the two things he did. Can someone put it into a good sentence? Isha, Isha, Nidhi, guys, I want answers. Very good. Keep on leaving, and I'm keep on recording everyone who's leaving the class. You try this trick at the very wrong lecture and with a very wrong person. It's very dumb of you. Who's giving me the answer? Come on.
Miss, what were the 2 points?
The 2 points were: first, he kept, okay, he was watching over him, that is the captain, and he also woke him up before the relief guard could see him sleeping on duty.
Miss, may I try?
Yeah.
Captain Hartroy was guarding over Drammer Brune and watching over him, and he felt asleep. So Drammer Brune woke him before the guard sees him, so saving his life.
Before the guard could see him.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Oh, okay. I'll just put it in a better format. Drummer Groon saved Captain Hartrow's life when the latter means the second person in my sentence, that is captain. When the latter had fallen asleep, okay, that is by watching over him. Drummer Broom saved Captain Hartrow's life when the latter had fallen asleep by watching over him, but also waking him up before the relief guard could see him sleeping on duty. But also waking him up before the relief guard could see him sleeping on duty. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Fifth question: how could have Captain Hartroy procured a pardon for Drammer Brune? That means, how could have he made the punishment for Drammer Brune more easy? Why could not he do so? So वो कैसे उसका punishment कम कर सकता था? And second, उसने ऐसा क्यों नहीं किया? These are the two questions.
Miss, may
Yes.
I? Because he woke him up
Full
during his
sentence.
sleep.
Captain Hartroy could have procured a pardon. Give me a full sentence answer.
Okay, miss. Just a second, miss. Captain Hartroy procured a pardon for Drammer Brune uh, as he
By
woke him up.
confessing, Captain Hartroy, okay, so he was sleeping, so he could have eased the punishment of Drummer Brune by confessing his fault of, what was his fault? Captain was
Sleeping during watching him.
yes, so he could have procured a pardon for Drummer Brune by confessing his fault of having slept on duty and telling how Drummer Brune kept a watch on him and saved him from being detected while sleeping, or saved him from being caught while sleeping, right?
Yes,
Second
ma'am.
question is, why could he not do so? So Captain Hartroy could not do so because he feared of shame, or you can say because for the fear of being shamed. Hartroy could not do so for the fear of being shamed, because the act is very shameful. And if you want to just elongate, Captain Hartroy could not do so for the fear of being shamed because of his irresponsible behavior, or because of his irresponsible act of being negligent on duty. Because of his irresponsible act of being negligent on duty. So I'll just repeat the answer once again. Captain Hartroy could have procured a pardon for Drummer Brune by confessing his fault for having slept on duty and telling how Drummer Brune kept a watch on him and saved him from being caught while sleeping. And Captain Hartroy could not do so for the fear of being shamed because of his responsible behavior on duty. Anyone having doubt?
No, ma'am.
Guys, why don't I
Yes,
hear?
ma'am.
Yeah, I think so. I'm teaching anyone and everyone who's alive and still breathing, having no infection in the lungs, right? Perfectly healthy. ठीक है. Let's come to the C part. This is your Pressy writing. They're asking you why Captain Hartroy could not keep the burden of life in his conscience, and what did he do to unburden himself.
Miss, is it homework?
Okay, so I want you all to write this Pressy writing. Okay, you have to write both the rough format and the final format, and send it to me. I know you all will not do the good work, so whomsoever is interested can please send me, and then I will share my answer personally to that person. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
let's not other get the advantage where they are not doing the hard work. Okay, I'll be very blunt on that terms. I don't like people who don't want to slog. Let's come to the D part. I want answers from everyone. Okay, stop being dull and inactive. First question: in spite of having scarce resources, he fought against the Mughals. Okay, you can simply replace in spite of with though, and the answer remains the same. Who can try this? This is a very mindless answer. Anyone can try.
Ma'am, can I
Those
try?
having scarce
Though he
resources
was having
fought against the Mughals.
scarce resources, he fought against the
Fought
Mughals.
against the Mughals.
Okay, any comma or conjunction, how's to be placed? Help me with the comma. Should it be placed in your answer somewhere? If I haven't told you, I'll just repeat. Whenever you start your answer with a conjunction at the starting of your answer, so though is your conjunction, right? It is acting as a conjunction, and you're placing it at the very beginning of the sentence. So wherever there is a joining happening, so over here the joining is happening, the comma will stay intact. If I would have used a conjunction over here, I would have removed the comma. But since my conjunction is at the start and at the beginning of the sentence, I put a comma over here, or I keep the comma intact over here. Clear? Please don't forget this. You miss a comma, your answer is wrong, in spite of everything being correct and just a comma being missed. You get a zero for that. So please learn these things. This is something that you have missed throughout your young age in the school. Second, this is not the way to behave. Begin in
Miss,
this.
may I?
Is
Is
this
this
the
the way
way
to
to
behave?
behave?
Is this the way to behave?
Is this the
Correct.
way to
Is
behave?
this the way to behave? Again, are you missing something? Any kind of punctuation that is needed?
Question mark at the
Question mark.
end.
Question mark.
Question
Okay,
mark.
correct. Third, his parents did not let him play with other children. Use forbid.
His, his parents forbade him playing with other children.
Forbid him to play with other children. Forbid is nothing but the past tense of forbid. Okay, his parents forbade him to play with other children, full stop. Now over here the forbid is the conjunction that is placed in the between. Okay, it's placed in between, so I'm not putting any kind of comma. Fourth, I cannot bear this torture any longer, and this torture with a question mark. So you have to introduce some kind of question, WH question, or maybe how, when, what, something like that.
I cannot.
There is a question
How
mark.
long? How
Yes,
long can I bear this torture? Question mark.
correct. How long can I bear this torture, question mark. So they are telling you to end this torture, question mark. So obviously you have to start your answer with some kind of question. So it can be which, what, how, depending on what sentence they have given you. Over here how was used. So how long can I bear this torture, question mark. Next, Mohini is a better dancer than a singer. Now, in the question, they have given you comparative degree. They are asking you to use good, that is positive degree. So whenever you're using positive degree now, you always have to use this word as along with it. Now, can you make an answer?
Mohini is not only a good dancer but also a good singer. No, sorry.
Mm-mm-mm.
Not this.
Moin is a good dancer than a singer.
Mohini is a good dancer than a singer. No. No one. मैंने बोला जब भी आप पॉजिटिव डिग्री यूज करते हो सो देयर इज दिस वर्ड एज दैट विल कम अलोंग विद द पॉजिटिव डिग्री सो एज गुड या एज गुड एज सो ओवर या एज गुड एज मैं नहीं यूज करूंगी बिकॉज मोहिनी इज बीइंग कंपेयर्ड विथ हरसेल्फ not with some other person. Okay, I'll give you the answer. Mohini is not as good a singer as she is a dancer. Mohini is not as good a singer as she is a dancer. डाउट है नहीं समझ में आया एनीवन किसी को भी डाउट है
No doubt, ma'am.
ओके नेक्स्ट she said if you cannot face the music I will have to begin with she told him.
She told him
She
if
told him
he
that if he
cannot
cannot,
face the
Hmm.
music, she will have to.
Okay, so whenever you're changing from direct to indirect, you also have to change the tense from present to past. Okay, so this will become she told him, right? If he could not face, cannot face को मैंने बना दिया could not face in past. If he could not face the music, she would have to. So I have made what changes. Number one, he, if you की जगह पे if he, that is first change. Second is cannot का हो गया could not. Okay, थर्ड आई की जगह पे she आ गया है और फोर्थ will की जगह पे would आ गया है. So I have made 4 changes. आया समझ में? She told him if he could not face the music, she would have to. whenever your reporting verb over here is in past tense and then you change from direct to indirect speech, your quoted speech will also change to past. Remember that. And the pronouns, that is you and I, will change into third person, that is he and she.
Yes, ma'am.
Remember these two things.
Miss,
Next,
will that come in this sentence?
she told him that. That is fine. You can include that. It's not wrong. Okay. Next, he was accused of telling lies. Begin with people.
People accused
People
him of
accused
telling
him of
lies.
telling lies.
Correct. People accused him of telling lies. The question is in passive. The answer is in active. क्योंकि question में we don't know the doer of the action, but in the answer you know the doer of the action. So people accused him of telling lies. Last one, Alexander conquered many countries, yet he was not happy.
In
Begin in
spite of
spite of. Mhm.
in spite of conquering many countries, Alexander was not happy.
Okay, there should be a comma somewhere
Yes, miss.
after.
Before Alexander.
Yes. So in spite of conquering many countries, comma, Alexander was not happy. Please try to give me punctuations as well because we are doing oral discussion. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So we are more or less done with this worksheet. I will just introduce you with a small part of the worksheet, that is your what do you say, notice. Okay. I know you must be knowing it. I'll just introduce you the format and the marking. Mm, okay. Okay, ठीक है. For example, if I take example of a interclass talent search, ठीक है, I'm giving you that as an example. So what are the things that you are supposed to write? So write a notice of interclass talent search that has to be put up in your school, informing students about the event and inviting them to participate. This is the question. Okay. So the first thing that you have to do is put a creative title. Okay. Creative title that will fetch you 1 marks. उसके बाद में you have to give the name of the event. That will again fetch you another 1 marks. यहाँ हो गए 2 marks. Next.
Do we have to leave a line?
Yes. See, if your school teacher is saying leave a line, leave a line. Otherwise, it is not required. Okay.
Okay.
The only point over here is that it should be visible enough. अगर कचरा होगा तो it will obviously invite some negative marking. Next is your date. So how do you write date? On, right? O का sorry, on का O capital नहीं चाहिए हमें. ठीक है? On like 24th May. आता मई तो खत्म हो गया तो जून डालते हैं. जून सॉरी 2021 फुल स्टॉप. उसके बाद में क्या आएगा आपका? टाइम आएगा. फ्रॉम का एफ कैपिटल नहीं चाहिए. फ्रॉम 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Okay, and last, venue. So again, at का a capital नहीं चाहिए. So at the whatever XYZ hall, name of the hall, comma, and name of the building. So ABC building. Full stop. Okay. So पहला आएगा creative title, उसके नीचे आएगा name of the event. Both are for 1 marks. Okay. Next is the date, which is for half a mark. Okay, this is for half marks. उसके बाद में आता है timing, which is again for half marks. After that comes your location. Location is broken in two parts, the hall and the building name, okay, which is for 1 marks. Okay, अभी यहाँ पे total कितना हो गया है 4 marks. So 1 mark is reserved for subscription or your paragraph writing. Okay, so when you write paragraph, you have to mention all the missing details that you could not put up over here. So name दिया हुआ है, location दिया है, time दिया है, date दिया है. What else is missing? So you are conducting this particular event for whom? So maybe class 8, 9, 10. Okay, and if they are interested in this particular event, how are they supposed to get in touch? So you give the name of the person to whom they should meet, or give their names to. And third thing, ये कब तक होना चाहिए? आपका इवेंट 24th का है, तो उसके पहले डेडलाइन होना चाहिए. सो मे बी लाइक 22nd. सो डेडलाइन. सो 3 थिंग्स. द इंटरेस्टेड पार्टी कौन कौन है. सेकंड, किसको कांटेक्ट करना है फॉर गिविंग नेम्स और फॉर रिजर्वेशन और फॉर एनी काइंड ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन. एंड थर्ड, द डेडलाइन फॉर द इवेंट. These are the 3 things that you should be mentioning in your paragraph after these lines. So you can say students of class 8th, 9th and 10th can participate in this event. Okay, they can contact the vice principal on or before 22nd June 2021. That's all you have to put in the paragraph. Clear hai? The 3 things that you have to mention: interested parties, second, contact person, and third, deadline for registration. These are the 3 things that you should be specifically mentioning in the paragraph following the other details. Any doubt?
No, ma'am.
No, miss.
Okay, the reason I have given you all this is because it is very, very common that you guys do not mention at least 2 of these details and you end up getting not a single mark for the paragraph. So if you want, just take a screenshot or just write it down. It's preferable if you write it down. Screenshot can be deleted or whatever from your phone. Okay, so what you will be doing now is, on the same guidelines, your worksheet has a question on notice. If you can access it on your mobile or laptop, whichever you're using. This is question A. You are the secretary of the sports club in your locality, and your team is planning to organize a program on the occasion of International Yoga Day. Write a notice to be put outside the RWA office. It's kind of recreational office of your locality, giving details of the program. So as normally we do, we mention your creative title, the name of the event, when, where. Okay, so when includes your date and time, where includes the location, and paragraph should include the details of interested party, contact person, and the deadline for the registration. Okay, I want all of you to please write and submit this by tomorrow evening. Is that clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I want all of you to please do this. I am not putting the compulsion for the pressy writing, but I want you to do this. Okay. So we'll end the lecture for now. See you in the next lecture. Bye bye. Take care.
Bye, ma'am. Thank you.
Bye bye.